What's up guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, please make sure that you subscribe down there. So let's get into the video. Okay guys, let's get into the personal stuff. So I have been a very anxious person for a really long time. It started when I was really young. I had pretty bad anxiety, and as I grew it has increased, and I do believe that caffeine was a big part of this. So I had pretty crippling anxiety for a really long time. It made it really hard for me to hang out with friends, do different things. A lot of things would make me very uncomfortable and get me very anxious, and I would go into panic attacks. I used to get 2 to 3 panic attacks a day at my worst time. And I literally planned my life around my anxiety. So I would like not do certain things because I would get anxious. I would literally like prepare for other things so much because I was thinking, okay, well, if I do this and this and this, then maybe I won't be anxious on this. It literally limited a lot of things in my life, and it was getting overwhelming. The worst part of my life, I was drinking a cup or 2 of coffee a day, and then I was going to the gym and having pre-workout. And so as you can see, like the caffeine intake there was really high, and it was like unbearable anxiety for me. I couldn't even at one point get into like a vehicle, even with my boyfriend, someone that I'm like so trusting of. I couldn't even get into a vehicle with him without having like a huge anxiety attack. And so it was really crippling. I used to like not be able to breathe. I fortunately never passed out from an anxiety attack, but a lot of times Zach just had to support me and calm me down. And it was something that I was so fed up with. I needed to find a way. I didn't want to take medication. A lot of people take medication for anxiety. That to me wasn't an option. I never wanted to be on pills. So I wanted to find a natural way to reduce my anxiety, and my boyfriend kept suggesting that taking caffeine out would be a good option, but as we all know, like someone saying they're going to take your coffee away is not always a desirable thing. So I was like, no, I don't think it'll work, blah blah blah, just because I really loved my coffee and I didn't want to have to take that out. So when my anxiety was at its worst, Zach literally took all the freaking coffee out of our place, like all of it, and he went to the store and he came back with like a variety pack of like caffeine-free teas, and he was just like, nope, you're done, like no more coffee for you. And like people are probably like, oh, that's horrible that he did that, but it was actually exactly what I needed, and I know that he knew that that's what I needed. So it kind of motivated me to just, you know, quit cold turkey. I wasn't gonna go back and do anything else. I wasn't gonna like slowly let it up, because I felt that my personality, if I would have slowly like done like 1 coffee a day, a half a coffee a day, like, and slowly eased back, it would have found it hard. And like days that were rough, I would have been like, oh, it's fine, I'll just go back to 2 coffees, and then the next day I'll limit myself. I found with not even having access to coffee like in my own house, it really helped, because I could just like literally, nope, I'm done. This is kind of how it went after there was no coffee in the house. So I started trying those caffeine-free teas. I started bringing them to work, and I guess the first thing I noticed was that I had a really hard time at work without my coffee, like a really hard time. There's lots of side effects of quitting caffeine, especially quitting cold turkey. If you're somebody that can ease your coffee intake, it probably is a good idea, because I had like a lot of side effects that were more intensified because I quit cold turkey. But some of the symptoms that I got right away were like excruciating headaches, like really bad headaches, because you're so dependent on that caffeine. So the headaches were horrible. Like with any withdrawal, it's just like withdrawals from like alcohol or withdrawals from drugs. You're gonna have like a withdrawal period, and it's gonna last for a certain amount of time depending on how much of that thing you consumed. So if it's caffeine, if you consume so much freaking caffeine, your withdrawal period is going to be longer. Since I was only consuming 1 to 2 coffees a day, my withdrawal only lasted, I would say, a week and a half. It really depends on the person though. So I had those really bad headaches. I was feeling just super sluggish, like so slow and like not motivated to do anything. I was having a really hard time with like feeling more frustrated and angry because everything just was like bugging me. I was agitated. I found that it took me a while to get back into my groove of work. I found that my participation at work went down because of the withdrawal, and I needed to learn how to produce my own energy without caffeine providing that energy for me. I gotta say, guys, the withdrawal wasn't that bad. Like, I do think you guys can totally handle it. It's not like something that you should be petrified of. Like, if you are deciding to quit caffeine, you shouldn't be like, oh, I'm not sure because the withdrawal symptoms sounds terrible. Totally manageable. It's just, I wouldn't like really string yourself out too much. Like, I wouldn't plan like a bunch of things. Like, if you were about to like go on a trip or you were moving or something, don't quit caffeine then. Like, plan it for maybe even a time that you're home for a bit so that you're not out in public, because especially if you're more agitated or like at work, if you have the lower energy, it can be a like lack of performance at work. So yeah, definitely if you're home, that would be ideal. But no, don't be scared of it, guys, because literally now I'm gonna tell you how awesome it was after I quit caffeine. And so I'm not really wanting to explain like too much of the bad, because ideally there wasn't too much bad. It felt like really shitty in the moment, and like it's going to, any withdrawal is gonna be horrible in the moment, and you're not gonna like it in the moment. But there's so many things that you guys are gonna get from this. Like, I don't want you to think that I'm like, everyone needs to quit caffeine. I totally believe caffeine is totally fine for some people. I'm just saying, if you guys have a lot of anxiety and you're feeling like you don't know what else to do, try it. It's not gonna hurt to try it. If it does work for you, great. And I'm not a frickin' doctor. I'm just saying it worked for me, and it might not work for everybody, but I thought I would share my kind of success story from it. And if I do help at least one person, then I would be very, very happy in myself for sharing my story. Okay, this isn't caffeine, just letting you guys know. This is tea, and it's not caffeinated tea either. It's peppermint tea, and peppermint tea, I literally swear by peppermint tea now, because when I quit caffeine, like when I quit coffee, and having a coffee every morning was just like a routine thing. You wake up, you brew your coffee, you drink your coffee on the way to work, or you get a Timmy's or Starbucks or McDonald's coffee on the way to work. That was like something that was so programmed into my life. So when I quit caffeine, like literally cold turkey, no caffeine, I found it really hard to wake up and not have something. So I wanted to have like an alternative, something that was caffeine free, but I could still have in the morning, because everyone likes to have like a nice hot drink in the morning. So I switched to caffeine-free teas. I tried a bunch. I got like a variety pack. Peppermint tea ended up being one of my favorites, and there's actually so many benefits to peppermint tea, it's ridiculous. So that's why I swear by it. So now every morning I will wake up and boil some water and give myself a peppermint tea, because it still gives me that feeling of having a nice warm beverage in the morning, something I can bring with me to work. But it's not having the harmful effects that the caffeine did have on me. And actually, peppermint is been known to help anxiety. Peppermint is a calming thing, so it helps in your body to calm you down, and can really help people with anxiety. So not only did the not having caffeine in my body help my anxiety, but the peppermint tea is helping to be a nice replacement, because it is so calming for your body. So the benefits, guys. Okay, so after the withdrawal period was over, I started to like realizing that I was producing my own energy. Like, I was getting up and I was in control of the energy that I was producing. It wasn't like manufactured, I guess, in a way, manufactured energy from a substance like a coffee. It was energy that I was producing myself, which was like super cool. I don't know if you guys kind of like feel me on that, but like it's so cool to say like I am in control of all the energy that gets me through the day. Like, it's not, I'm not relying on anything else to help me out. I am my own energy source. Woohoo! So I found what was helpful is like obviously getting enough sleep, always gonna help get more energy. I found the peppermint tea was just almost like a placebo effect. So in the morning, having it was almost like having a coffee. It tricked my brain into thinking that it was helping me get energy. I also found like going to the gym helped me so much with like producing my own energy, because when you go to the gym you get like bursts of energy, and then I know after the gym you're tired, but your brain releases different chemicals and stuff like that that gives you energy and happiness. After the gym, I'm not really like super informative on like all the different chemicals that release in your brain and stuff like that, but I know there is some, and I actually really found that going to the gym gave me a lot of energy that helped me get through like the day. And I don't find that now I have any less energy than I did before. If not, I think I have more energy now than I did before. Okay, my neighbor's outside and he's looking at me like I'm an insane person, so I'm just gonna try to stop my crazy hand movements for a second, because he's probably thinking, why the hell is this girl talking to a camera and waving her hands in the air? People always ask me when I quit caffeine and how long I've been off of caffeine, and I've been off caffeine, like completely no caffeine, since September of last year, so September 2018. That's when I initially completely cold turkey quit caffeine. And I mean, like, I quit coffee, pre-workout, any pop beverages that have caffeine in them, pretty much anything that has caffeine I have completely cut out of my life. I always do caffeine-free options for all of these because I don't feel that they completely need to be gone from your life. The flavor of a lot of those things are still really good, so just doing caffeine-free options is awesome. I did have a little bit of a relapse, I guess you could call it, in December, and I want to kind of describe how that was, because it's really interesting and I didn't think it would feel the same way. So December, it was Christmas time, and me and Zach went to go see some of his family in Prince George, and we were there and we stayed up pretty late. We were watching movies. I think we went to bed at like, well, not super late, I guess 12 o'clock. Yeah, that's my late. So we went to bed at 12 o'clock and we were staying in their unfinished basement down below, and we were staying on like a little futon bed. It was so uncomfortable, but like that's what they had to give us, and I was fine with it in the moment. But like, you know, guys, when you're on a futon bed, you literally like roll into each other in the middle, so we were like squished like this the whole time. Not comfortable for sure. And then like, it was an unfinished basement, so the walls didn't go all the way up to the roof. There was like a space like this big at the top, and they had their two children sleeping downstairs. They have like a young son and a young daughter, so they were downstairs, and I obviously was not getting the best sleep because I wasn't comfortable and I was rolling into Zach. But then the kids started like, the little girl, she started like screaming and like crying, and I don't know if she felt sick, but she ran to the bathroom and she was slamming the doors, and all I can say is pretty much both. Oh, and then the little boy started coughing. Pretty much it was just like so loud, and I didn't get any sleep. I think I got like literally 2 hours. And guys, like, I'm someone that needs like 8 hours, or I don't, like, I cannot even do 5 hours. So 2 hours, I was like a living zombie. I was like, and I like got out of bed and I went upstairs, and it was Christmas time, so we're so busy. We had to go see so many of his family and my family. So we got up and I went upstairs, and I literally felt like I was hungover or something. Like, I hadn't even drank, but I felt like I was hungover. I was that, like, I felt like I was gonna die. Like, I was so, my body was shutting down. It was horrible. And I saw everyone else having coffees in the morning, and they offered me a coffee, and I was like, oh no, I better not. But I knew that we had to drive from Prince George to Quesnel. If you guys don't know how far that is, it's like an hour and a half. It's not super long, but we had to do that trip, and we had a bunch of family that we had to see in Quesnel later on. So I was like, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it. So I got a coffee, and like this right here, my little Yeti mug, I filled this, so like, I don't know how many ounces that is, but like this whole thing I filled with coffee, and I just put like a little bit of milk in it. So it wasn't like just a little bit of coffee. I decided I was gonna drink this whole freaking thing. And I drank it, and at first I was like, oh, I feel like more energized and awake, and this is gonna be good for me. And then all of a sudden, I started to like shut down. I started like shaking. I started like sweating. I felt like my heart was like going way too fast than it should. And I was like feeling so freaking nauseous. I felt like I was gonna vomit 24/7. It was horrible. It felt like a panic attack. Like I literally couldn't breathe. And I was trying to act natural and like play like a board game with the kids, and I was just dying. And then Zach's like, yeah, we gotta get in the truck and we're gonna go for lunch with my parents before we leave Prince George. And I was like, oh my God. So I got in the vehicle, and I literally almost had to pull over on the side of the highway to vomit. Like I was literally sweating and shaking and like, Zach, I can't breathe. Like, and he was like, I told you so, because he did. He told me not to freaking take the coffee, and I took the coffee, and I should listen to him, but I didn't. And I like so panicked that I called my sister, because she's like my person that like calms me down, one of the most people in the world that calms me down. So I called her up and I was like, Shamira, I drank coffee and I don't know what to do. I'm literally dying here in the passenger seat, and we have to go for lunch, and I'm so she's like it'll be okay, and she's trying to get me to breathe, and I'm like, I'm literally gonna vomit. So we get to the restaurant, we're at Boston Pizza, and I get in there and I'm like, I don't even think I'm gonna eat anything. And I get in, I sit down, and like his parents are like, what's wrong? And I told them, and I was like this, like sitting, and the waiter comes over and he's like, can I order you guys drinks? And they all order like actual alcoholic beverages, and I'm like, can I have some peppermint tea? And he's like, for sure. I literally chugged the peppermint tea, like chugged, and then I like melted into my seat and felt so much better. Like it calmed me so much. And I think it could have been the peppermint tea, and it also could have just been like the placebo effect of the peppermint tea, and I know that that calms me, and I know that that's something that is really beneficial for me, so it kind of just melted me into the seat. But for the rest of the day, I still felt like crap. Like I felt like crap, and it lasted pretty much the whole day, I could say, like the whole day. I didn't feel like I was gonna like completely die as much as I did when I first had it before we got to the restaurant, but I still felt like so crappy. And after that day, I refuse to have another slip up, because that felt so terrible, and I never ever want to try that again. It just goes to show, when your body has completely got rid of something and you haven't tried it for like, I don't even know how many months that is, from September to December anyways, how much your body just like rejects it, because it knows, it's like, whoa, you haven't had this in forever, what are you doing to me? So definitely not gonna try that again, and I haven't had another slip up since. So guys, I hope like that this video was helpful and informative. I know I definitely don't have a lot of research behind this. Like I'm not educated, like I'm not like a doctor or anything like that. Like I don't have the studies and the facts to tell you. I just have my own personal experience, and I still hope that that's helpful for you, because I really want to help people that were like me. Like if you had anxiety like I did, like the weight that was released off my shoulders after quitting caffeine and literally going down to like, I don't think I've had a panic attack in like 5 months, is like unbelievable. The relief of like, I don't have to be so worried anymore that I am literally gonna have a panic attack in front of people and they're gonna like laugh at me or something like that. So if you guys are like me, like I want you to be able to have that relief, and I want you to try it. And I'm not guaranteeing it. I'm not saying everyone's gonna be like me and their anxiety is gonna almost disappear. I'm just saying that it's worth a try, and I really hope that it does help some of you guys. And I thank you for letting me be a little bit vulnerable today, and I hope you guys enjoyed a little bit more of a raw side of me today, and I really hope it helped you guys.